past few decades, Hollywood has shown its extreme interest in the idea of life existing on other planets, and has created many films considering what might happen if extraterrestrial life decided to pay Earth a visit. Now, while many of these blockbusters, including Independence Day and War of the Worlds, don't exactly inspire enthusiasm for the idea, recent discoveries on the surface of Mars have indicated that life beyond Earth is a possibility. However, now that this isn't just a matter of science fiction, it raises a very important question. That is, whether international law should provide an overriding ethical obligation to protect and preserve extraterrestrial microbial life. Now, while many out there would disagree with this ideology, there are two important details that show that this would not only be beneficial for ET, but is an investment in the future of humanity and so should be done. And these are, one, the fact that these pieces of legislation need to be in place, and secondly, how they are going to benefit humanity in the long run. So why do we need to have laws like these in place? The answer can be seen by looking at thousands of years of human history and a long track record of lacking any care not just for Earth's biological resources, but life itself. According to Scientific American in 2009, 80,000 acres of rainforest were destroyed daily, with another 80,000 being severely degraded. Now, not only is this destruction of plant life, but this is the removal of the habitats of thousands of species, showing that the protection of wildlife does not matter to humanity when it comes to short-term economic benefits. Add this in with other pieces of information, for example, the fact that according to the World War II Museum, 60 million people were killed in the conflict of World War II, and the fact that 500,000 people were murdered in the year of 2012 alone, according to the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime. These show that overall humanity lacks any value in the aspects of life, showing that legislation like this needs to be in place in order to protect it. So secondly, why are these laws going to be beneficial for humanity in the long run? Well, the answer can be seen when we look at modern science. For example, according to News Medical in 2015, recent discoveries involving a bacteria in the human gut could lead to a cure to celiac disease. And according to Indian West, a recent discovery of a red pigment in soil bacteria could also lead to a cure for malaria. In both of these instances, we see a case where a certain bacteria, upon research and science, has provided a cure for one of humanity's many ailments, showing that we need to protect these resources in order to deal with any potential viruses that could threaten the future of mankind, showing why we need to have such legislation in place, and overall showing why there should be an overriding ethical obligation to protect and preserve even extraterrestrial bacteria, because these two hold the potential. Now, some may wonder whether this is actually working to protect or preserve these life forms. And the case is this actually is, because it is keeping the species from being wiped out so that later on it can benefit humanity. So after considering all of these different aspects, the fact that legislation like this is necessary in order to protect these life forms, and that by protecting these life forms, we are actually working to protect the future of humanity by keeping alive certain cures to diseases that could plague us. We see that by having an overriding ethical obligation to protect extraterrestrial microbial life, we are making a huge investment in the future of humanity. So maybe before we take that next step to Mars, we should consider whether we are actually being the ones invading and have the potential of destroying the life forms that have made their home on Mars.